Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I am Kelly Stewart, joined today by Carmine Bianco, my soccer expert. Sorry guys, I'm in America, we call it soccer. You guys can call it football in Europe, all you want. I only say that because I know Carmine told me that we get trolled on our on our mentions otherwise, so I gotta make a joke about it. So this is exciting for me. First time I ever bet soccer was with you. This last summer we did some World Cup stuff, won a little bit of money. I was happy, and now you're gonna actually break this down for me and explain to me what all of this actually means. So we're doing Championship League, or Champions League, sorry.
Champions League, yes.
Champions League. So they begin February 12th. Today is January 2nd. So things subject to change because you said there's still like a trade deadline of sorts?
Right now up until January 31st is the transfer market. And for this year, UEFA changed the rules. So in the past, if someone was sent from one team to another, and they were cup tied, they'd already played for a team in the Champions League group stages, they could not play for the new team until next year. They've changed that rule where 3 players now have no restrictions on them. So there's going to be a lot of moves, I think, over the next 3 to 4 weeks with some new players switching teams. There was one today where Dortmund sent American Christian Pulisic to Chelsea.
Yeah.
So Chelsea loaned him right back, so he will play next year for Chelsea. But for the rest of the year, he'll be playing for
so he gets to finish on his team. Awesome. Yeah. See, stuff like that does not happen here in the United States. No. They don't say, hey, you get LeBron James. We want LeBron James, but you get to keep him for the rest of the year. That's not how this works. So Champions League playoffs begin February 12th, with the knockout stages. So we have 16 teams. And I need you to break this down for me.
So there was 8 groups, group stage play. There were groups of 4. They played home and away against each team, so 6 games. The 8 group winners and the 8 second place finishers head now into the knockout stages where they were drawn into first place team matches up with the second place team as long as they're not from the same federation. So 2 teams from Spain or 2 teams from Italy or England cannot play each other, at least not in this round. So they draw it that way. The teams that finished first in the group stages get the second game at home, which is a decided advantage, getting to play that second game in front of your home fans, your stadium, and knowing what you need to do based on what the result in the first game was. So
you have to. Is this where you have to lose twice to be out?
No, it's literally 2 games total goals aggregate. So you could have let's say something like Liverpool and Bayern Munich, and Liverpool wins the first game 3-0 at home and then loses 2-0 away to Munich, and Liverpool will advance.
Because they won the cumulative score of the 2 games.
Goals. You score a goal on the road, it's an away goal, it counts as 2 at the end when you're looking at away goals. So Liverpool, let's say, winning 3-1 at home and then losing 2-0 at home, they're tied 3-3, but that away goal counts as 2 and Liverpool's eliminated. Even though they split the 2 games. A little confusing, but it's what makes soccer exciting.
That does sound exciting. So I'm gonna brag about Carmine here just for a minute. Last year in Champions League, 28-12. The year before, 2017, 17-6. Europa League, 17-2 last year. Absolutely crushed it. MLS, 10-2-1 this year. So lots of exciting stuff. And right now, you guys can get Carmine's 1-year all-access soccer football package. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to just give it the combination.
Yes, I love that. Yeah.
For $799. C799 is going to be the promo code, and I'll give it again at the end of the video. But I just had to give his records out because he has made me some money, and hopefully he can do the same for you guys. And before we get into the matchups, I have another question for you.
Sure.
What about these tournaments makes it a better wagering opportunity than, say, during the rest of the year? Like, what is so special about these tournaments?
Well, and that's why I was going to touch on that, the fact that those records are knockout stage records in those competitions, and MLS was playoffs. Obviously, I did well throughout the year during the competition, but once you get into the knockout stage, it's a little different because there's no guesswork involved as far as the lineups go. Teams start their best players. You don't see that typically during the group stages. If a team like a Real Madrid has won their first 4 games with 2 to go and they've locked up first place.
Similar to what we see in the NFL, where maybe week 17 you rest some of your starters because you know that you have a couple of weeks to hang out.
And there's nothing worse than you take a soccer game and you bet a team, and then you turn on TV and you're like, oh my God, who are these guys? there's
great.
players missing, right?
Yes.
So it's the same as basketball, or when you see like towards the end of the season with San Antonio, where they would sit players, and you're like, who are these guys? And it's just there's 7 guys who usually sit on the bench, right?
All right.
That are playing. So.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, let's start. We're going to start off with Roma versus Porto. Did I say that right?
Yes, Porto is Portuguese side. Obviously, Roma is from Italy. Roma finished second in the group. They finished second to Real Madrid. They lost last year in the semifinals. They had a fantastic run. Last year they lost to Liverpool. They got blown out on the road in League One, but they won League Two at home. So I think they're a good team. They're a very good defensive team. The thing is, these two teams played last year as a play-in game, 2 playing games to get into the actual competition. And Roma was favored there, went to Porto. They drew 1-1, red card. The Italians were a little heated. Came home, they had all the advantages until another 2 red cards. And when you're 11 versus 9, you're never going to win that game. They lost 3-0. That stuff's fresh in their minds. They have a very good team.
So you would say they have maybe revenge on their minds here?
Yeah, it's not lost on them. It's like we said, January 2nd. This is still 5 weeks away, but they have some injuries right now. Pellegrini, Pastore, Dzeko, their striker, De Rossi are injured, but they're all on their way back. So this 5-week break actually works out really well for them. Porto, on the other hand, they had a fantastic season last year domestically. Again, domestically this year, they're doing great. In the competition, that 5 wins and a draw in 6 games. They're first place in the league. But and not to insult Portuguese at all, but the Portuguese league I think is just is a couple steps below what you see in Italy, what you see in England. The best leagues right now for me are England and Spain have the 2 best leagues. As 1 and 1A. You can make a case for either one. So do you power rate
them, and that's what you mean?
Yeah, you have to, because they're. It's not just the top 4 or 5 teams, but there are other teams from 5 through 8, 5 through 9 that are very good teams. So when you're playing consistently good teams and competitive matches week in, week out, I think it hardens you for a tournament like this. Then you have Italy Serie A, which is even though I'm Italian, I still think it's below EPL, it's below it's below La Liga, but it's with the German league as far as quality. France, their league has taken a step back this year. One good team, PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. The other teams.
At least you're naming soccer teams I've heard of. That makes me happy. At least I'm not completely in the dark here.
Yes, so anyways, getting back to Porto, last year they had a great group stage as well too. Went into the knockout stages. Unfortunately, they met up with Liverpool, and Liverpool went to Porto. I think they beat them 5-0. 5-0, 5-1. I'm not really sure the scoreline, but they literally, it was over there. Came home. I think the second game in Liverpool finished 0-0. As far as these go, like I said, they have a history, but I think Porto, coming out of an easy group, now takes a step up to playing Roma, and I think Roma's going to win League One at home. I believe they'll win League One at home. I think they'll advance. They're minus 106 to advance. This literally is a pick-em. To advance to the next round, the quarterfinals, Porto's minus 110, Roma's 106, and I'll take Roma 106.
All right, I like it. Okay, so next up, 2 teams I have heard of. Manchester United and Paris Saint-Germain, as you called them just now. PSG, give me your thoughts on this matchup.
Yeah, this one's interesting. The thing is, Man United, they've had a so-so season. Jose Mourinho, their coach, was let go a few weeks back.
I did see that.
And I actually thought it was a genius move by the Manchester United board. Reason being is they literally fired him just before they started a slew of easy games, and brought a new manager in. It's brought life to the team. Pogba's playing better. Rashford's playing better. Martial, they just look like a completely different team. But they played Cardiff. They played, I think, Bournemouth or Huddersfield. Like, they have a FA Cup game coming up. They haven't played anybody. They're playing bottom half of the league. So we have to sort of take it with a grain of salt. They'll play Tottenham in a couple of weeks, so you guys will know the results by the time you're watching these videos for the Champions League. But we'll see what the team is made of. They have a quality team, top to bottom. I think their back line needs some work, which is important as far as PSG, because PSG have an attack with Mbappe, who is the youngster for France. They won the World Cup this year, or this past year. They have Cavani, who scores goals, and of course they have Neymar.
They do have Neymar.
When he's not rolling around on the ground, Neymar is one of the best footballers out there. I'm always going to talk about who the best footballers are, and my thoughts are Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi are the two best footballers. You can make a case for either. It's when people talk about Jordan and LeBron, you can make a case for either one of them, but if you're a fan of either one of them, you're just going to go nuts trying to justify it. But anyways, like I said, they come off like wins of 5-1 and 3-1 over Cardiff and Huddersfield. The tough thing here for them is they play League One at home. They have to get a result, because if they don't come away with a win, or if they give up an away goal, which is likely.
Okay, so I wasn't going to interject too much, but now I have a question.
Yes.
If they tie at home, that's not a win, but it counts as.
Yeah. If they tie at home, let's say the score finishes 0-0, then the winner of the game in Paris will advance to the next round. If there's a draw in Paris and it's a draw that's anything other than 0-0, then United will advance because of the away goals rule.
Oh, okay,
so that
makes sense. You mentioned that earlier.
So it's very tough to keep a team like PSG off the score sheet. I think United could do it. I don't think they will. I think they're going to allow a goal at home. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I've got this earmarked as the total in this game is 3. I expect this to be a low-scoring game at home. I'm going to go under 3 in League One. I think this could literally be a 1-0, a 2-0 type game, or even like a 1-1 type of game. If United get that lead, they'll look to sort of lock down midfield and protect it. But I think PSG advances. The price on them is minus 315. The price on Manchester to advance is plus 258. But I just think that PSG have too good a team to go out in the first round.
Yeah, sounds great to me. I'm just going to blindly follow all of these bets. All right, and I'm going to screw this up. You told me how to pronounce this. Go.
Ajax.
Ajax versus Real Madrid. Why isn't it Ajax? I mean, like the soap. I mean, that's how it's spelled.
Yes, it is. And we have a city called Ajax in Canada. But,
see? Okay, great. So I'm not crazy. So Ajax versus Real Madrid.
Real Madrid's like minus 400 here, and rightly so. Ajax plus 319. But I'm telling you, this is one of those ones where if you're looking for an upset in the first round, it could happen here. Ajax had a good they had a good season last year. This year, they're having an outstanding season. Even though they sit like second in their group, second in their league, they've gone 15-1-1 in league play so far. And at home, they've just got an unbelievable record. They're seven wins and a draw at home. They've outscored their opponents 32-2, which is just amazing. In group stage play, they were 2-0-1, 2 wins and a draw with a 7-3 goal differential. They finished second to Bayern Munich, and actually had Bayern Munich on the ropes in that final game. We're 5 minutes away from winning it, and it finished in a 3-3 draw. Hence, they finished second and draw Real Madrid. Now, Real Madrid, of course, are your defending champions a couple of years in a row, 3 years in a row. A little different between...
So, okay, here's the thing that I always tell people with like teams like in American football, you pay a premium for certain teams. Are you paying a premium here to bet Real Madrid?
I think you are. You're paying a premium, and there's a couple. When you look at it, it's tough to win when you're going, in Madrid. It's just tough to win there.
They have a great home field advantage.
They do, but you can beat them at home. You can beat them
if
you're at home. Yeah,
okay.
On the road. In La Liga play this year, they've gone 3-1-4. They've lost 4 games. They've been outscored 16-11. A couple surprises. They lost in group stage play to Moscow, which
seems like
a Russian
no-name
side.
team. Yeah.
They actually lost twice to Moscow. I think there are only 2 losses, but quite, it's quite surprising. The difference between the Madrid of this year and the Madrid of the last few years is Cristiano Ronaldo. He's now he left, and he's now the striker for Juventus. This happened just after the World Cup, and he said it's a change for him. Madrid is now. Instead of having sort of a formation where it was, 3 guys who complemented Ronaldo, it's 3 guys
around him.
Yeah, it's now they still have a good team. You have guys who can play on that team. Isco, Benzema, Bale. They have very good players on that team, so they can find the net. It's just that this Ajax team, and this is what I like, is doesn't matter who they're playing, they're not afraid of anyone. They're not a team that says we're going to sit 9 guys back and try and defend and then just counterattack and try and score a goal and win. No, they come after you. There's nothing I like more than an underdog who comes after you and tries to beat you. It literally is a team that they say we're going to beat you, we're going to kick you in the teeth, and we're going to try and beat you. And this is the thing. Whether they can do it, I'm not really sure. I don't think Madrid is ready to go out in the first round. They could. There's a possibility, but.
So you think they have a possibility of upset? So would you bet them plus 1 goal?
I'm going to, yes. I'm going to take Ajax is plus a half a goal in the first game at home. I'm going to take Ajax in the first game. I think they possess, like I said, the talent to upset Madrid. The thing is, I just don't see Madrid leaving in the round of 16. And if Madrid gets that all-important away goal, if the game finishes, if you take the half goal, finishes 1-1, or Ajax wins, you're winning your bet. But if Ajax gives up that goal, I think they need to win 2-0, Ajax, in order to have a chance to come out of Madrid and advance.
Okay, great stuff. Learning so much. It's like soccer 101. Actually, it's like soccer 110. It's like not quite the
or football.
Yes, 110. Right. I know. I'm going to get so much. Okay, Tottenham versus Borussia Dortmund. Based on the line, this looks like a nice pick'em type game.
Yes, if you're an Arsenal fan, Arsenal's not in this competition. They're in the Europa League. You're hoping for Borussia Dortmund. Arsenal fans hate Tottenham. Tottenham fans hate Arsenal. Last year, Tottenham was knocked out by Juventus in the knockout stages when Juventus won 2-1 at Tottenham, and there were fans behind the Juventus goal holding up Arsenal jerseys. They actually attended the game just to rub it in.
Just to cheer against them.
It's just the way it is. But listen, the Spurs, Tottenham, they survived like match day 6. They needed to go to Barcelona and equal the result that Inter of Italy had on that day, and they came away with an 85th minute tie at Barcelona, while Inter was held 1-1 at home. It put Tottenham in and knocked them out. They've looked great this year. They're scoring goals, 6-2, 5-1 in league play recently. They're just playing really well right now. They're scoring goals, and this is what you need in a competition, especially with a team like Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund, we talked about earlier, just sent Christian Pulisic to Chelsea, but he'll continue to play for them. They've done nothing wrong. They lead the German Bundesliga. They're atop. Usually that's a spot that's reserved for Bayern Munich the last 7 some odd years or whatever it is. But they're unbelievable so far. They're 11-0-1 in league play at home. And they were unbeaten in the group stage play. I think as far as this goes, I think that there's a lot of goals in this matchup. Sometimes you see teams with a lot of scoring, you think, oh, it's got to be a dead over. But the over really is only sitting at like a sort of a split line of 2.5 and 3. Split lines, whenever we talk about them, typically means when it's 2.5, 3, half your wager is graded at 2.5, half your wager is graded at 3. So if it lands on 3, you'll push half your wager, you'll win half your wager. I'm actually going to take, as far as this goes, I just think the EPL sides are very strong this year. I'm going to take the over in the first game, and then I'm going to take Tottenham to advance at -105.
I like it. Notice I'm taking my own notes so I can put in my bets after this video is done. Okay, Liverpool, another team I know, versus Bayern Munich. Did I say that right?
You've got it perfect.
Close enough.
Yes, absolutely. Listen,
Liverpool, slight favorite here.
Last year's finalists, losing 3-1 to Real Madrid, they're just having like another stellar year. They currently sit top of the EPL. Again, something where people forecasted it would be Man City. So they're 7 points clear right now. They play tomorrow, January the 3rd. Man City and Liverpool. It's going to be a great game. But, they're unbeaten in league play right now. There's 17 wins and 3 ties in 20 games, a 48-8 goal differential. So they're not just scoring goals, they're keeping them out of their nets. They're very well coached. They finished second in group stage play, but that was like the group of death. They had Italian side Napoli in it, it had PSG, and it was literally that group was decided on the very last day. The one thing about them is they played absolutely flat on the road. They lost all 3 games in group stage play. Losing at PSG, I understand. Losing at Napoli, I can also understand. Napoli played much better that game, but they lost 2-0 to Red Star Belgrade, and it was a horrible game. They just looked completely flat. If they do that in Munich, they're done. But I don't think that's going to happen. Munich's looking good, but Munich's an aging team. They're unbeaten in the group stages, 4-0-2. They sit second in the league. They've won 5 straight games, 4 clean sheets. I honestly believe that this is one of the best matchups. We're going to get to another one later, but this is one of the best matchups of the first knockout stages. I am going to go with Liverpool in leg 1 at -104 at home, and then Liverpool to advance at -125.
All right, Liverpool advances. I like it. All right, is this Lyon?
Lyon.
Lyon, but
Lyon.
not spelled like with an E, like I would think Lyon would be spelled. Okay, Lyon versus Barcelona. Barcelona, big favorite. Are they the big? This is the biggest favorite.
No, I think we have one more.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That makes sense.
But yeah, Barcelona's -1,000 to advance. Lyon's +673. I don't think you can look at Lyon to have a chance to upset them here. I don't want to upset their fans, but they just can't. They finished second in the group. They only won 1 of 6 games. They drew the other 5. They haven't been really scoring. The French league, other than PSG, has sort of dropped off this year. You have teams like Monaco, who are near the bottom of the league. Marseille aren't having a great year, but I think it's a down year for them. So they're facing a Barcelona team, and when you think Barcelona, you think one person, Lionel Messi. He's just, like I said, he's one of the best footballers out there, if not the best. He's out there. He just creates. Last year,
I just remember his heart hands. That's why I know.
Yeah, or holding up his jersey. We might see one of those jersey things before this video is over. But, anyways, I think this is one of those ones where Barcelona goes to Lyon, wins there, comes home, also wins there, and advances.
So nobody wants to lay.
No, you can't lay those numbers.
Right. So what's
you just don't even take this to advance price.
Okay.
Barcelona's -1 in leg 1, and
so minus a goal.
Minus a goal,
okay.
And I'm going to take them to win there. I literally think they go there and come away with something like a 2 or 3-0 victory.
All right, I like it. Okay, this one I'm going to totally screw up. But it's Manchester City. I know that's who's playing. They're the biggest favorite.
Schalke.
Schalke?
Schalke.
And they're from where?
Schalke is a German team.
Oh, okay, no wonder I can't pronounce it. That makes sense.
So yes, Schalke is literally, it's 9.98. It's literally 10 to 1 on your money if you take them and they upset Man City. I don't think that's going to happen. So we're not going to spend too much time on this one. We're going to make this one quick. Schalke reminds me of if you look at a lot of Champions League things.
Was this a team that was very lucky to get in? I'm assuming
they had a very good season, and it's similar to like Leicester City a few years back.
Ago.
You know, they won the league, 5,000 to 1 to win the league. They won the league, and then the next year they completely dropped off. But they had a good Champions League because they sort of knew they couldn't do it again in EPL. But they had a very good Champions League. They sort of carried that forward, made it into the knockout stages, but eventually lost. That's what Schalke is doing this year. They sit like 13th or 14th in the league, and the German league, after the first top 4 or 5 teams, isn't very good. So if you're 13th, you're running really bad. And you know, you just look at Man City. They've got a great team, top to bottom. Pep Guardiola coaches the team or manages the team. They're going to go far. They're one of the favorites in this tournament, along with Barcelona, obviously Liverpool and Juve. They're going to win here. I think they go there, and I think we see a lot of goals in that first game. I'm going to take over 3 in the first, and then obviously City to advance. But that price is not going to see any of my money.
Exactly. There's just too much chalk there. Okay. Atletico Madrid, I know this one, and Juventus, which I can't pronounce
Yes,
either.
Juventus.
Juventus.
You did actually pretty good. You did great there.
These are
so
hard
yes,
for
okay.
me.
So I'm putting bias aside here because a lot of guys who follow me on Twitter know I'm a Juventus fan. All right, but this is other than that, I think that Liverpool Bayern Munich matchup, I think this one is a great matchup. Not so good for Juventus. I think of all the opponents they could have drawn in the first, the round of 16, Atletico is probably one that they didn't want to draw. The price is Atletico plus 157, Juventus 185, minus 185. Atletico is a team that they've made it to the finals. They lost to Madrid a few years back, and they just have a very good team. Their back line is probably one of the best, I think, out there, along with Juventus. So you have two teams, and this is why the first game, the total is 2. It's because you have two very good defensive teams. Midfield, they have similar midfields. It's going to come down to attack. Atletico has French national player Griezmann, who of course won a World Cup. Juventus is now led by Cristiano Ronaldo, and they're having a great year as far as they're unbeaten in Italy, 17 wins, 2 draws, 38-11 goal differential. It's like I mentioned, they've got a fantastic back line. This one's a tight one. It's literally, the advantage is in Juventus' favor, mainly because League 2 is at Allianz Stadium in Turin, Italy. So if they can go and come out of Madrid with a manageable result, a draw, an away goal, or even a win, it should be enough to see them through. But I'm going to take, I've got no play in League 1. The line is so tight. It's literally pick 'em on the 2-way line, and the total is 2.
And so it looks like a 2-0-1-1 type of game, yeah.
They're just very tough to bet. But I'm going to take Juventus minus 185.
All right, before I wrap up this video, any futures bets you think have value that you want to give out to some of our viewers? Yeah, you know what? Every year, I'm a homer. I just talked about my biasness. Okay, so every year when the odds come out, I play Juventus, and I always put $1,000 on Juventus to win the Champions League. A couple years ago, they played Real Madrid in the final, so I had them at 14-1, and I hedged it out. Okay. Because there was a line to lift the trophy, so it didn't matter whether it went to penalty kicks, extra time, or what have it. It was literally minus 105 both ways. Being Canadian, I can bet at Pinnacle. Yeah. So I literally hedged in order to guarantee myself an even profit no matter who won. Of course, I cheered for Juve. They lost the game, but I won money, which is always great. So I did the same thing this year prior to when I was here for the World Cup, prior to the news coming out that Ronaldo was moving to Italy, and I got them at 14-1, and then they quickly dropped to 6-1 after that. I've taken them since this trip. I've taken them at 5-1. I've taken PSG, who I took pre-tournament at 10-1. They're 6-1. And I've got Liverpool. I took them originally at 8-1, and I've got them at 5-1. So I am going to say that your Champions League winner comes out of those 3, Juve, PSG, or Liverpool. But if we have to ask me who I think it's going to be, this is who it's going to be. I think it's funny they're sponsored by Jeep. Some of these jerseys crack me up. All right, did I forget anything? No, I think we have it wrapped up. Again, because we're taping this on January the 2nd and the knockout stages are February 12th, a lot of changes are going to happen between now and then. Follow me on Twitter at Carmine Bianco WT. I will post a lot of updates there. They also have a news section where I'll have soccer articles, and I'll do an article prior to the first knockout stage games with any revisions to what you've seen or heard here today. Awesome, great stuff from Carmine. Guys, last year, Carmine picked up 103.45% in profit in soccer/football, went 21-13-6 when releasing a 5% soccer best bet. 1 year of Carmine Soccer is discounted right now to $8.99, but after watching this video, we're gonna give you an extra $100 off coupon. So use coupon code 799 when checking out. That comes about $2 a day to get Carmine Soccer for an entire year.